Okay, you guys, here's 4.2. And 4.2 is a little bit of review from secondary math 2 with a little bit extra stuff in there. But this first page is the exploration page, and I'm just trying to see how much you remember of these exponent rules. So the first one says, work with a partner, let A and B be real numbers, basically meaning that they're just numbers. And it says, use the properties of exponents to complete each statement, and then match each complete statement with the properties. So first, we're going to go through the statements. Okay, the first thing we're going to remember is negative exponents. We kind of talked about that before. Move things to the bottom. So that one is 1 over a squared, and that's going to be D, talking about what negative exponents do. Okay, and then AB to the fourth is the same thing as A to the fourth, B to the fourth, and that's when we distribute. Okay, and that's the power of a product, meaning we have multiplication going on the inside, and we're going to distribute that power to the product. C is A to the 12th because it is a power to a power, and we multiply a power to a power. D is A to the 7th because when we multiply, that's the product of power. So when we multiply, we add. Okay, and this one, when we have a fraction to a power, we put the fraction on top and on bottom. So that is this one, the power of a quotient, meaning we have a power of some sort of fraction. And F, we have a to the 6th over a squared. That's a to the 4th. We subtract, and that's quotient powers. And then a to the 0 is 1. Those should all be reviewed. Those are basic things that you learned last year, but we're going to add to them. Next part says, work with a partner. Show that you can apply the properties of integer exponents to rational exponents. Basically, same thing as above, but we have fractions now. And use the calculator to check your answer. So this one, bases are the same, and we're multiplying, that's product. So this is going to be 5, keep the base, 2/3 plus 4/3, and we get 5 to the 6/3, which is 5 squared, which is 25. Okay, and you could check with your calculator, you could grab it. My calculator's coming up. And you could say 5, and then in parentheses, raise it to the 2/3. And then we're going to multiply it by 5 to the 4/3. 25. We checked our answer. Okay. B, with division, we subtract. So this is 8 to the 5/2 minus 1/2. 5 minus 1 is 4. So you get 8 to the 4/2, which is 8 squared, which is 64. And you could check your answers too and double check just to make sure. And then the last one that we have here is 4 to the 2/3 cubed, and we have a power to a power, so we're going to multiply. We have 4 to the 2/3 times 3, which is 3 over 1, and we get 4 to the 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 1 is 3. That fraction reduces to 4 squared, which is 16. Okay? Next one says, use the properties of exponents to write each expression as a single radical. Then evaluate each expression. Use a calculator to check your answers. So, if you remember, you did this last year, and we'll see how much you remember. But when we multiply, you can only combine things when they're the same root. So since these are the square root, okay, we multiply the insides. Okay, so we get the square root of 3 times 12, which is the square root of 36, and breaks up to 6 and 6. So the answer is 6. Okay, and then we do them in buddies because it's the square root, so we circle them in buddies. Okay, this is a cube root, so we get this equals the cube root of 5 times 25. And sometimes I combine it, and sometimes I'm like, why combine it big if I want to see if I can make it small? So 25 is 5 and 5. And if you notice, I have 3 5s right there. So this equals 5 because I'm looking for groups of 3. Okay. Not only does it work for multiplication, but it also works for division. Okay. So this is the same thing as the 4th root of 4 and 1024. I'm going to see if that reduces. So I'm going to grab my calculator and see if 1024 is divisible by 4. So it's 256. So this reduces the fraction 1 over 256. And 256, then we can split this back up as the 4th root of 1 over the 4th root of 256. Well, this breaks up to 1 on top. And then the 4th root of 256 is what times what times what times what is 256, which you kind of practiced last one, but I believe I'm going to double check. Or I can remember that this is the same thing as 256 raised to the 1/4. So I grab my calculator and go 256. I'm going to raise that to the 1/4. And that's 4. So this really is 1/4. Okay. This one says, how can you use properties of exponents to simplify products and quotients of radicals? And it says, simplify each expression. If you want extra practice, I'm going to let you do that. If not, go ahead and skip to the next page of the notes. I'm going to do separate videos for each page. So continue on to the next one and make sure you're submitting all your pages.